Yo, what's up, guys? It's lucky number 7, episode 7 of On My X. We're back coming at you with all that Halo goodness. I'm joined by the boys once again, as always. Faisal Khan, the man Goofy. Say what's up to the people.
What's going on, everybody? Back at you for episode number 7. Excited to talk all things Halo Esports and give you guys a great show.
And we got Sheriff P, a.k.a. Clutch, Wes Price. Say what's up to the people.
What's going on, everybody? Excited for episode 7. If you didn't know the nickname Sheriff P, it's in Among Us. I see you imposters out there. I'll be catching you.
It's been a week, right, Wes? We've been up pretty much like how many nights this week have we stayed up past 3 a.m. playing Among Us?
It's been a grind. It's been a grind, like probably 4 or 5 nights, I think. I think Among Us is just a great game that you can play with just about anybody, especially a good group of friends, and it just causes chaos and provides total entertainment for everyone involved. So good times,
that's probably what we're doing right as soon as we're done here. They're probably calling us already, right?
Yeah, I mean, you would think so. I know Strongside might be out of town tonight, but the lobby hasn't stopped since it started, so I wouldn't expect it to stop anytime soon. So excited for some more.
Make sure you guys tune in. Make sure you guys tune in to Twitch.tv in the clutch, man. These Among Us nights have been crazy. We've had like Neighbor, Snipe Down, Strongside, Clutch. It's been nothing but OGs filling those lobbies up, and it's been a riot, man. So
we have a couple new guys too. Royal 2's been in there. Elamite's been in there. Throw a good Vartan in there. He's a good.
I need to get into these. I actually haven't even downloaded the game yet. I've been so out the loop. So I'm gonna download it very soon, and we got to get some games going, guys, for sure.
Yeah, we gotta get you in there, man. You've been missing out. It's one of those things where I've stuck to my sleep schedule so well for so long, and all it took was Strongside jumping back into my life for one day for it to be completely flipped around, upside down. I'm up all night every night. I'm getting texts at 2 a.m.
It looks fun. It looks like it'd be a blast. It's one of those games. It's like, I don't know if you want to call it a party game.
Oh,
but,
it is.
You know what I'm saying?
I would definitely call it a party game.
And so it definitely looks like a good time, and like what's it saying? A bunch of friends. You know, it's the perfect game. So I gotta download it. I've been BSing, but I'm gonna get it, and we're gonna get it going.
I'll tell you guys right now, Sheriff P runs a very, very tight ship. If you get into these Among Us nights, this man's calling all the shots, and if he's not, you know he's the killer. So get him off the ship ASAP if he's not talking a whole lot.
We'll see. They think they have a read on me, but they never have a read on me. But we'll get into some Halo Esports action for you. And this week we had a couple of tournaments go down. We had your Esports Arena Halo 5 tournament that we have every weekend. And we had Love God in the finals, which was the team that just won the last weekend's event, which is Frosty Boobadoo, Saiyan, and Bound. And they actually went up against a team called The Last Dance. We'll let Faisal give his opinion on what that team name.
Have some originality, man. If you're watching the show, have some originality. How are you going to take the team name from a team that just won a tournament, was just playing, competing for a spot to win another tournament? You just turn around the next day and just take the team name, man. Come on, have some originality. What are you doing?
He's talking to Renegade Soul Snipe.
I'm talking right to them. I'm talking right to all 4 of them.
Talking to them. That is pretty disrespectful, I will say. It's like somebody trying to rock Believe the Hype back when I'm competing as Believe the Hype. And that was not going to fly. So there's probably some words that need to get exchanged between some members of that, which the original Last Dance and then the imposter Last Dance.
There's no words. It's plain and simple. You don't use the team name from a team that, and it's not even like it was we pulled that team name out of thin air. Obviously with the Jordan documentary, that's where it was where it was based from, but we've definitely just randomly put that team name together, and to see these guys use the team name a few days later, it's just like, it's so whack. Like, it's such a bad look. What are y'all doing?
Yeah.
Not a good look.
And they might have been thinking like, oh, well, it's our last chance too. I don't care. Get that crap out of here. I could see it now. Like, Faisal's team looking at them like it's like the Spider-Man meme where they're like both pointing the fingers, like who's who. Yeah. What are you guys doing? You guys are imposters, and them just saying, hey, what do you mean? We were down in electrical. Like, that's literally the way that all plays out.
Yeah.
So.
And just FYI, we're going to continue to use this team. I mean, I'm not sure what the 100% certainty is, and I'm sure we'll get into like this, all the news HCS announced. We'll get into that as the show goes on. But as all you guys know, there's going to be Halo 3 tournaments every week, and we will continue to be using that team name. So just putting that out there. All right, Wes, go ahead.
All right, it's out there. Karma came back to bite this last dance in the finals as Love God actually ended up winning the tournament and winning back-to-back. So what once was Fung 4 and Renegade, Soul Snipe, Talik, and Druk, they actually four-peated, and in the last 2 weekends, they have fallen short to Love God. So Love God hit him with the repeat. Karma came in and bit him in the butt a little bit for stealing your team name, Faisal. And with that, that's first and seconds in the Esports Arena tournament. We also had a Halo 3 G Fuel Energy Games finals that went down, and that was going to be between Inconceivable and Magnanimous, two teams we're all very familiar with, having had them in the ACS Pro Series the entire time. Inconceivable actually comes out on top, and I wanted to give a big shout out to those guys for not only winning one of the MCC Pro Series, but winning this G Fuel tournament was a big deal for them too, because just about everybody competed in it. That was a really strong known team. So big shout out to them. Magnanimous finally makes it to a finals, but they did fall short. So small shout out to Ryan Noob Spartan, Rain, and King Nick, but you didn't get the job done. So you still got that chip on your shoulder, in my opinion. But great Halo 3 action all around, and a couple tournaments this week keeps the Halo scene alive, and you love to see the community continuing to grow.
Do you think that counts as a bounce back for Inconceivable, like to win the G Fuel, the games?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think
I agree.
that, like, I think what was important is that every top team that I can think of played in it, and they came out on top. So
Yeah.
I would say that just speaks volumes to how strong they are, and that they weren't just a fluke, or they weren't just on fire that one MCC Pro Series they won. They're actually a very good Halo 3 team.
It's crazy
Yeah,
to think
I
that
think
they were like,
Inconceivable is gonna.
yeah.
I think yeah, it's nasty, right? Because those guys, that group of especially Boo Boo and Falcade kind of being the core, because then they switched to Halo 5 and they play together too. But that whole group of guys that, you know, they're winning in the Halo 5 tournaments just a few days ago. Then they played in the Halo 3 4v4 tournament. Then they won that as well. So I'm sure you know, with all these tournaments that have been announced now, they're going to be playing in both games. So it's going to be exciting to see those guys try to, you know, maintain their chip, I guess, in both Halo 5 and Halo 3, you know. So it's gonna be cool seeing them compete in both games.
That's one of those crossover teams for sure, where they're going to be good at both.
Yeah. And I think they'll have like separate rosters. They'll probably have like different rosters a little bit, maybe for both games. Like maybe they'll keep playing with Tusk for Halo 3, but then I think for Halo 5 they'll kind of have their own thing. So it's going to be interesting to see what rosters they ultimately go with for both games.
It's crazy to think that they were literally like pretty much one tournament away from sweeping all like the big Halo 3, you know, events that just came through. Like, without them falling to Sentinels in that last MCC Pro Series, and, you know, Faisal coming in hot with the Last Dance, like they could have potentially won, you know, Pro Series, and then G Fuel. That would have been pretty sick, but you guys had to come and throw a wrench in their plans there. And, you know, obviously Halo 3 is ultra competitive. So I wanted to jump in really quick. Obviously, you know, we're all sports lovers here. That's a big part of who we are. And, you know, it wouldn't be true to us if we didn't bring up some of this week's action in sports. Faisal, bro, like the NBA playoffs are in full swing, dog. What's this week been like, bro?
So the NBA playoffs, I could see Wes already dozing off because he's like, football is on. But the NBA playoffs have been crazy, man. Okay, so the Lakers tonight, just a couple hours ago, we watched Anthony Davis hit the game-winning three to give the Lakers a 2-0 series lead. That was an incredible game, you know, back and forth the whole way. Well, actually, Denver came back, you know, crazy comeback for them to even be in that position. So crazy series there. We have the Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics. We got the Celtics winning game 3. So the series is 2-1 now. Gordon Hayward is back. So excited to see that series. I think it's going to go to 7 with the Celtics and the Heat.
Oh, with Hayward back there, dangerous.
Yeah. Hayward is a big piece, man. He does a little bit of everything. So they're definitely a nasty team. But I think get out of here, man. But the Lakers, LeBron James, I think they're gonna do the gentleman sweep on the Nuggets. I think they'll end up winning 4-1. I'm gonna give the Nuggets one game, but yeah, man, it's been crazy. Basketball.
I'll let you in on a little secret. The playoffs are over. When the Clippers got knocked out, the playoffs ended. LeBron James and the Lakers already won the finals. You don't have to continue wasting your time watching it. It's not even a good storyline at this point. Miami's not good enough. The Celtics are
Don't sleep on the Heat, man. The Heat are my dark horse. I'm saying,
absolutely not.
don't sleep on the Heat.
I'm not gonna lie. I like Wes giving all the Laker
I'm
love.
gonna get 8 hours. I promise you.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I mean, even in terms of Vegas bets, like the Lakers are by far the favorite. So it's not an out there opinion to say that they're gonna win. But yeah, I mean, when the Clippers got knocked out, the Bucks were just trash in the playoffs, so they were never even really a factor. But going into the playoffs, we thought, oh, the Bucks, the Clippers, the Lakers. Now it's only the Lakers. So I mean, I think they're the favorites. But
it's been interesting to see who's like performed. Like some teams, some of their young players have like really shined in this environment because they haven't had that like playoff pressure. You know, I think we've seen some people definitely overperforming, and we've also seen some folks underperforming. I mean, the Bucks obviously come to mind. They were flat pretty much the entire way through the bubble. And like as Faisal was talking about the Lakers versus the Nuggets, I know Wes jumped in on it, but I was like, wait, the fact that the Lakers are even playing the Nuggets right now in the Western Conference Finals is just ridiculous, bro.
I don't want to watch any of that. Like, absolutely. And I know Anthony Davis hit that crazy 3-point shot for the game winner, yada, yada, yada. The Nuggets aren't a bad team, but they're not the Lakers. They're not going to beat the Lakers in a best of 7. So why would I even entertain that thought of it being an interesting Western Conference? The Eastern Conference Finals is actually pretty interesting, but the winner of that's just going to get slayed by Anthony Davis and LeBron James. Like, it's a farm session.
LeBron's fourth ring.
Just farming pigs.
Yeah,
we're witnessing greatness.
They better start making it now because it's already been decided. I think.
I love Wes giving all this Laker love right now. Like as like an over 2-decade Laker fan right here. Like it feels so good to be back in the spotlight, bro. Like. It's been hard.
You have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. It's been hard. We didn't win for 8 years. It's been hard.
It's been hard, bro. Like when you're used to championships or contending for championships,
shut up.
Dude, like,
man, honestly, I feel your pain, man. I'm a Spurs fan. And
exactly.
We've had the dynasty forever, and now we're like, I don't know where we are as a team, and so it's tough. You know, being a contender, being a dynasty for so long, and then your team kind of not being there, and now for Lakers to be back, you know, like you said, after 8 years, it's crazy, but. Obviously, all that goes to LeBron and bringing AD over. So,
and as like a basketball fan, like I gotta tell you straight up, like I miss the Spurs, bro. Like I miss Duncan, like these legends, Tony Parker, these guys who were just like Manu, like who just we just went to war, you know, with you guys for years, and you guys were always a factor. So I posed this question on Twitter, and I would be interested to get you guys' take on it earlier this week. I said, what was more shocking? Do you guys think? What was a bigger deal? Do you think these Clippers right here in these 2020 playoffs being knocked out by the Nuggets, or when the LeBron James Cavs got knocked out by that Magic team, and so we never got the LeBron Kobe face-off in the finals? Like, what do you guys think was a bigger deal?
I think definitely LeBron James. I think LeBron James getting knocked out for sure. I don't think this Clippers team was like great or like good, but none of these playoffs are surprising. This year's crazy. They're playing in an empty gym. It does not surprise me that anybody can lose to anybody pretty much in that kind of an atmosphere. If you have that home court advantage and you lose, that's a different story, I think. But right now, nobody has home court advantage. So like the 1 seed losing is less surprising this year than it is any year. And I think that's why you saw both 1 seeds lose.
Yeah,
I think the 1 seed or the 2 seed?
The Lakers are the 1 seed.
The Lakers are the 1 seed.
Okay.
I definitely think the Clippers losing was more surprising than that Cavs team losing, just because as an overall roster, this Clipper team was so deep and so dangerous, right? All the way down to they have 2 6 men of the year, like Lou Will, Montrezl Harrell, not to mention what people were calling arguably like the best 2-way player in the game, Kawhi Leonard going into the playoffs with Paul George, Doc Rivers coaching them. I just think there's no way anyone could have predicted the Clippers losing the series. Whereas if I remember correctly, that Magic Cavs series, I mean, LeBron James's roster that year wasn't anything too spectacular compared to this Clippers roster now. So I think it was for me going into that series, the Magic and the Cavs, I wasn't sure because Dwight Howard was at his peak at the time, you know, defensive player of the year back to back. He's just so nasty. So it was kind of like Dwight versus LeBron and their supporting cast. Whereas this year with the Clippers, I feel like they were the overwhelming favorites and they lost in that game 7 after being up 3-1. It was just, I did not see that coming in.
And the way they were talking too, right? Like, the way the Clippers were talking all year long, like just running their mouth mouths. You know, we hear the stories of Pat Bev, you know, knocking on players' doors and talking trash, saying we got you, and like the way Paul George and all those guys had like this crazy confidence in all the interviews like throughout this year. It was like they kind of set themselves up in a way where that was the expectation as well on themselves, and so them kind of blowing it was a pretty big deal. But I don't know if you guys remember this. Do you remember when it was that that year where it was that LeBron Cavs team and that Kobe Lakers team? Do you remember like the commercials where they had like the puppets? They had like the LeBron and Kobe puppets.
I wish they were able to actually have the matchup.
And it was like the Kobe, he was like, I got 4 championship rings. And it was like, and he was making fun of LeBron for not having any. And it was like these funny, like they were hyping that rivalry so hard. And then it literally never happened. And it was like shocking, you know? And it's like one of those things where it's like, dang, like we never got to see that face off, that Kobe, like, you know, not necessarily prime, but still dominant, and LeBron, like young, just beast, you know? So I don't know. For me, dude, it's so hard. It's hard because of the hype that the Clippers team had, but I think I'm going to go with the LeBron Magic thing because of the fact that those two players are going down in history as like, you know, your Mount Rushmore, you know, Kobe, LeBron. It would have been crazy to see them get to face off. You know, we would never get to see Kobe versus Michael, you know, in like a finals scenario, or LeBron Michael, but this would be the closest thing to that sort of like Titan matchup. I think close to like, I guess maybe like Magic and Bird, like kind of old school. And we were like robbed of that, you know, by Dwight just coming in and dominating that series. Wes, I know you want to say something.
Yeah, I think what we have now is the KD LeBron rivalry, and we kind of forgot about KD this year, but it's just like that's who I think the Larry and like Magic rivalry is right now. So they weren't even in it. It's like, and it's going to be an interesting year next year, and I think that everybody kind of knew that this year was almost LeBron's year for the taking. Once the Warriors had the injuries they had, KD goes out, like Paul George isn't going to cut it. I think I learned that when he was a Pacer.
Yeah.
And I don't know why people kind of like cling to the Paul George story. It's just like he is who he is, and he's like a solid third piece, I think, but he's not a 1 or a 2. And I don't think that the Clippers are going to be able to kind of pull it off until a better piece than maybe a Paul George arrives.
I don't know. I kind of disagree. I feel like going into the season, Paul George is almost in that same category as Anthony Davis. Like before this year, Anthony Davis hadn't done anything either. Yeah, he was putting up big stats, but he didn't will his team to any conference finals. The furthest he got was the second round. At least Paul George got to the conference finals. He was giving LeBron James, D Wade, Chris Bosh good 7-game series, 6-game series, and then he got injured. He had some pretty major injuries. But I mean, to say that Anthony Davis was some proven veteran going into the season with LeBron, if anything, you had LeBron on the Lakers, you had Kawhi on the Clippers. Both people, like people saying Kawhi's the best, people saying LeBron's the best, and then you have their number 2 guys. You have Paul George and you have AD. And if anything, the Clippers had the supporting cast. So that's why a lot of these analysts and the sports bets were favoring the Clippers. So I think I don't know. Going into this year, Wes, you said that you were kind of. You explained it like, oh, the Lakers were kind of favorites and everyone knew that LeBron's going to win. I disagree. I think we had the Bucks. People were saying the Bucks were going to be a contender. They might win. We had the Clippers. Yeah. I mean, now for we can say that easily because they just got destroyed. But before going into the playoffs, the way Giannis was playing and the way that Giannis didn't even play 30 minutes a game and he put up those stats for his MVP. So people were really giving this Bucks team another shot to make it, which
Celtics,
obviously they didn't.
Obviously was stacked top to bottom.
The Celtics even still.
You know?
I'm talking like the Bucks, Clippers, and the Lakers were definitely there. So the fact that both the Bucks and the Clippers fell, now it's obviously with the Lakers being the top team now, I think it's easy to say they're going to win. But going into the playoffs, man, I didn't know if the Lakers were going to make the finals. I really didn't.
I was worried, and I'm like a Laker fan. You know, I'm diehard because, you know, they secured that number 1 seed and they kind of just like cruised, it seemed. Obviously they weren't really trying the rest of the game, so I was like, you guys got to get some kind of rhythm going before the playoffs. And then they lose game 1 to Portland. I'm just like, oh my god, like this is not happening right now, you know. But they were able to lock it in. It seems like their defense is just really clamped and they're just like absolutely putting teams in a blender. Like trying to score on the Lakers seems like a nightmare, you know. And you go on these stretches where you're battling against LeBron and the crew, and then he goes to the bench, and who's coming off the bench? It's AD coming in now. It's like I feel like the Lakers just have that pressure where there's like no break, you know. But I think we can all agree that next year is going to be freaking insane, dude. I mean, especially with rumors of like Giannis going to the Warriors and stuff like that we're hearing. Like, man, like I'm excited for obviously this championship that my Lakers are about to grab here real quick, but next year I'm so excited. Like the better the teams, the more exciting it is to watch, like, period. Like, people always hated on KD for going to the Warriors and, like, whatever. But he made that, like, must-see TV almost, you know. People wanted to see what they were going to do, if they're going to live up to that. And so it'll be interesting to see what moves get made, you know, through the offseason and whatnot. So that's kind of my closing, remarks there on the basketball world. We freaking love basketball here on my X, but we also love football, you know, and football is back. Today was a big day. Obviously, it's Sunday. Wes, I'm gonna let you're the expert. I'm gonna let you take it away. What did you see today? What's been going on?
How are your fantasy teams doing? Well, wait, how are your fantasy teams doing? So last time we talked, you were 2-0, man.
We're 2-2. Oh, this week did not go well, but flukes happen, you know. It's a long season.
It is a long season.
We play in strides, okay. It's a week by week game, or league, and this week wasn't our week. We'll just go with that with some coach talk for you. But nice NFL games today. We had the Patriots and the Seahawks for the night game. Cam Newton played great. Great to see Cam playing really well. Love seeing that out of him. The Patriots are going to be a threat. But this Seahawks team is unbelievable. Russ Wilson, like, if that guy doesn't win an MVP this year, or at least compete for the MVP, like, it's going to be insane, because the things that he has done throughout his career and is doing on a weekly basis already is absolutely insane. So Seahawks are a real threat. Ravens, my boys, held it down, beat the Texans down. They got the Chiefs next week, so that's Sunday Night Football, I think. So Chiefs
Monday.
Ravens. Is it? I think it's.
Yeah, I think it's the Monday game, I believe. Yeah.
All right. Well, it's one of the night games. It's a primetime game. Mahomes versus Lamar.
It's gonna be crazy.
I'm stoked.
Got to be that's got to be the best AFC team. Two best AFC teams. Tons of injuries happened today, and that kind of sucks. Just for sports, I was talking to one of my friends back home about it, and I was just like, the worst thing about the NFL, it feels like, it's just every year it just gets drained with injuries. And, like, it's like already Saquon probably tore his ACL, so we don't get to watch Saquon Barkley this year. McCaffrey's hurt. Michael Thomas is hurt. Just all these superstars that really make, like, football, like, great are starting to get hurt already. And you got to think that that's due to the lack of quality practice, preseason games, and everything that they needed for their bodies kind of coming into the season. And they got to be, like, a little out of shape, a little out of tune with what they typically are right now in the season. And because of it, the injuries are going to be plaguing the NFL this year. So tough scenes there, but man, good to have football.
Yeah, I saw the Saquon news and I was like, man, dude, that sucks, bro. You know, like, people that have, like, such high upside, people that are so valuable to their teams, you hate to see that, right? You know, you want to see everyone at full strength battling it out and duking it out. I kind of have like a funny, interesting, like, predicament I've kind of been in the football world, Wes, and maybe you can help me through this. Maybe Faisal, you can help counsel me through this. But essentially, like, my team growing up has always been the Broncos. When I first moved to the U.S. In 1998, 1999, when I first found out about football, it was like full blown the Elway, you know, days, and everyone was stoked on them, and that's kind of who all my friends were into. So I kind of followed that track. But now that I'm older, I'm kind of like, man, I don't know, like, necessarily if that's, like, my team. I mean, I've kept up with them here and there, but so I'm like thinking, I'm like, dude, do I, like, jump ship and try to find a new team? Like, do I go support one of these LA teams? Do I stick with what I liked because I was a kid? Like, you know, so I don't know. Like, I don't want to end up being just like a bandwagon either. So I just been, like, following players and, like, obviously keeping track with, like, Tom Brady and stuff like that. But man, I kind of feel like I'm missing out on that, like, locking in with a fan base and, like, being about it, you know?
Yeah, I don't think there's a wrong way to go about it. And Wes, I'm going to defer to you here because I've said time and time again, I've never been able to get so, deep into football, watching it or anything like that. So Wes, I'll defer to you, but I don't think there's a wrong way to do it. You know, I don't think you should try to worry about, I don't want to be a bandwagoner or something. You know, if you live in LA or, you live in California, it makes sense for you to be a fan of your team. Right. And I don't think you can be called a bandwagoner. You live there. So me, for example, I'm from San Antonio. We don't have a football team, but I'm in Houston now. So if any team it would be the Texans, right? And I don't think even if they happen to be like a Super Bowl winning team and they're just really good, if I were to become a fan of them, it's justifiable, because I live here. So I don't know, Wes, I'll defer to you. Maybe I'm completely off track here, but I don't think there's a wrong way to be a fan of a team.
Well, first off, I just want to mention that the Ravens did beat Houston today, 33-16.
Yeah, I know. That's why I found. Yeah, it was bad. I was at a Wingstop earlier picking up some wings, and I was just watching. They had the game on, and it was just a blowout. It's like, oh,
everyone's
God,
just like sad in the Wingstop. Like they're giving you the worst wings. They're all soggy.
Yeah. The wings were good.
What I will say, and my advice to you personally, Hunter, was you're in the Los Angeles area. The Rams are about to be the best team in the NFC this year. I would hop on that bandwagon as
early
soon as you can because that
lock down your status.
That train is about to leave, and you want to be on it because I really do think the Los Angeles Rams are not only are they like super fun to watch, their offense with Sean McVay is just one of the best offenses in the league, one of the most intricate offenses, most fun to watch. Big plays always happen. A lot of studs on that side of the ball. You got Aaron Donald on defense, best defensive player in the league. I mean, what's not to like? So if you're looking to jump ship, I would definitely recommend hopping on probably the home local team, and the Rams are definitely the play. I would stay away from the Chargers for now.
Yeah, no one messes with the Chargers.
And I would say you definitely want to have a team because all my friends back at home, man, like there's like 12 of us in like a fantasy group text, and like we're all close friends. And it's like I'm a Ravens fan. There's one guy that's a Patriots fan. Of course he is somehow. He's from born and raised in Tampa, but he's a Patriots fan. And then nobody else has like a team, and it's like they always try to roast me for being a Ravens fan. I'm like, dude, you guys don't even have a team. Like,
you have no allegiance.
You gotta have a team. I mean, it's cool to follow players in any sport, to be a fan of a player, and with that logic, kind of rooting for their team. But ultimately, you gotta have a team, and it's kind of the same way. Like how you're saying your friend's like a Patriots fan and you grew up in Tampa. It's the same way with like I'm going back to basketball, but with the Golden State Warriors when they were on their run, everyone was a Warriors fan. It seemed like okay. I want to restate what I said earlier when there's no wrong way to be a fan, because there definitely is some wrong ways to be a fan. Yeah. It's when you obviously jump on bandwagons and just to kind of be able to go on Twitter and be like, haha, your team sucks. My team's the Golden State Warriors. We're the best. So like in that way, it's wrong to be a fan that way. But yeah, if you live in LA, man, go be a Rams fan. Yeah. Officially starting today. Rams fan.
Hop on that bandwagon and you will be a happy fan for the next 5 years.
You got the Lakers. You're gonna have the Rams fan.
That's what I'm saying. I was on the Lakers, Kings. I was already on all the LA teams, so I was leaning towards the Rams as it is.
For Houston, we have the Astros. Okay, you know how bad things are in Houston sports, bro. We have the Astros. We have the Rockets that keep on failing. We don't know what's going on, and then we have the Texans. Houston gave away, dude. Okay, yeah. So for
a sad
sports fans, it's bad. So enjoy living in LA, man. You got the weather, you got the sports teams. I'm actually getting upset talking right now, so I'm gonna stop.
Yeah. I was like I said, I was leaning towards the Rams just to complete the LA trifecta, because like I said, I was already on the Kings, already the Lakers. Obviously, I don't care about baseball, so that's probably what I'll look into doing, just so I can have someone I can like jump behind and be about it, So, Wes, anything else notable that you wanted to throw out there, football news wise? We're looking forward to that Kansas City Ravens game, man. We should probably jump in a call and watch that.
Yeah, I also want to say Aaron Rodgers is on an absolute tear this year, so it'd be
people slept, man. Slept heavy.
It'd be ignorant for me not to mention what he's doing up in Green Bay. I think they put up multiple 40 burgers so far as the NFL has started, and Aaron Rodgers sees that the Green Bay Packers decided to draft a quarterback, and in doing so, decides to show them that they probably made the worst draft pick that they could have made. So it's always like you love seeing that in sports. Yeah, you love seeing that in sports where they like draft the backup, or they draft like who they think is the next big thing for their organization, and then all of a sudden like the superstar that is there like steps his like levels his game up a little bit. That's something that like only sports I think gives you, and that's always exciting to see. So big shout out to Aaron Rodgers. Love seeing him swing the football. I think he's the greatest to ever do it. So
thanks for keeping us. Oh, whoa! I mean, dog.
Bold claim.
Well, we got a guy down in Tampa. That's.
I mean, he throws. If you watch Tom Brady throw a football and then you watch Aaron Rodgers throw a football, it is not the same football.
Yeah, but Tom Brady's like 90 years
old.
old.
Break down the argument too, though. It's like, are you talking the greatest, like in terms of the word great, or are you just talking about the best kind of skill, right?
Best
yeah,
skill.
I think in terms of this GOAT status, like it's got to go to Brady. But I can agree with like the arguments against his game throughout his.
So it's like the difference between Ogre 2 and Snipe Down or something. Basically, is what you're talking. Like the skill versus the
yeah.
But I mean, Tom Brady's fourth quarter like clutch performances are freaking
decision
insane.
Making, leadership, like all of that goes into being like getting the credentials that he has. It being great, but like athlete wise, Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, I can respect that. I actually really enjoy watching Lamar. I love watching Lamar Jackson on the Ravens. Like skill wise,
he's just exciting
breaking people's ankles, bro.
Yeah. He's just exciting, must see TV because the way he plays the game, the way he plays the position is just so exciting as a viewer. So I feel like watching him is always a treat.
He jukes people like it's a basketball court. Like he literally is out there crossing people over and breaking ankles. It's awesome.
It's crazy.
So
it's insane.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Wes, for the football update. As always, keeping us in the loop. I'll be checking out the Rams next week. Let's go. This week we had some pretty awesome news for Halo as well, and the future of Halo Esports. We didn't have as long of a break as last time from between H2A and H3. They jumped right out ahead of the gun. Tashi came out and delivered a blog post with the info moving forward. So starting actually next weekend, they're starting up the Halo 5 Pro Series. That'll be played on the Xbox One. And then also every Friday, they're going to have Halo 3 tournaments as well on the PC side of things to keep things kind of moving. Faisal, I'm going to throw it to you first. What was kind of your thoughts? We obviously had some inside info prior, but with all the information out there now, what are you thinking?
Man, I think it's, honest opinion, it's unfortunate because of the timing with the MCC Insider update coming out very soon. I believe in the next couple of days, it'll be public to everyone.
Tuesday.
And it's cool. Yeah, and it's cool because, they're catering to both sides of the community. And unfortunately, we're in a position where the community is kind of split, where we got the Halo 5 people, we got the Halo 3 people, and then we're waiting for Infinite, which is everyone. And so I like that they're catering to both sides of the community. It's a little bit, as a Halo 3 fan and as someone who really enjoys just the gameplay and a lot of the viewing aspects that come from watching Halo 3 tournaments, I wish we could have done a more elaborate kind of roadmap for Halo 3, kind of similar to how the Halo 5 one has been laid out, which is amazing. So, congrats. And I'm really excited to see how that plays out. And even for Halo 3, they doubled that weekly winning, before it was $500 a week when you were playing these weekly tournaments. Now they doubled it to $1,000 a week. So we'll see what the details are in terms of what, first place and second place or third place, how they divide that $1,000 a week. But, it's cool that we get Halo 3 and Halo 5, but ultimately Halo 5 got it good, man. It's unfortunate, at the end of the day for me, like it's on console, you got the heavy aim. A lot of people sold their Xboxes, people sold their capture cards, and now you're trying to like just put it all back together. And it's so quick, it seems like, this weekend's coming around and, teams, I don't know if teams are practicing, not really. Some teams have, and, the rosters are kind of random too. So
the last dance will be there, Faisal. Best.
Dude, okay, the last dance. Whoever Renegade, Drunk, you got to change it. You got to change the name.
Y'all should play together for it.
I mean, Halo 5, they'll win. Halo 3 will win. So what are we doing?
Score differential.
Halo 4 it is.
Halo 4 it is. No, but just to wrap up, like my sentiments towards everything, it's exciting news for the Halo 5 fans and the community. I mean, or just Halo fans in general. I think it's exciting because the roadmap they've laid out for these Halo 5 tournaments is pretty epic. There's a lot on there. And then for Halo 3 fans too, we for me, I'll still be streaming Halo 3 all the time. I don't really see myself going to play on console much. Every now and then, I'm sure I still have my Xbox and my capture card, so it's not really like I can do it if needed, and I probably will, just for the fun of it. But you'll still see me playing Halo 3 on PC all the time. I'm excited about the update for the Insider dropping to everyone, and just excited to kind of fill the gap between Infinite.
Yeah, man. Wes, what about you, man? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think it's just nice to give the community kind of the best of both worlds of what we can with the situation we're in. Obviously, we're going through some mellow times, but I think that providing opportunity in both 5 and 3 will help balance the ecosystem a little bit. I know Halo 5 needs some loving. Unfortunately, it has to be on console, but that's just the way it has to be right now, guys. And with that, I think there's a lot of potential for the guys that have been grinding Halo 5 to get some standout performances, to have a little bit of spotlight put on them, and to show all the hard work that they've put in pay off. And then also we'll have the Halo 3 that people have been putting hard work into as well. It's kind of a good opportunity, especially if players are able to kind of somehow manage both at a high level. I think that's a super cool story that some of these teams are going to be able to tell. I think immediately when you think of teams, you think of like Inconceivable. And like to your point, Faisal, I could see them easily playing with Tusk in the Halo 3 tournaments. Do I see them teaming with them for the Halo 5? I don't know. Probably not.
No,
I know Tusk played a little bit of Halo 5, but I know that they probably have just about their pick of the litter when it comes to any of the free agents that are out there for a Halo 5 tournament. And with that, I think that they can do very well. And I mean, there's some serious chunk of change that some of these guys can be collecting along with.
Oh, yeah.
So they're definitely going to be taking it serious. I'm glad that Halo 5 is actually a game I've missed over the past probably year. It was good to get a break from it after 3 years, but I think there is that need for that high level Halo 5 is something special to watch, and it's very entertaining. So I'm excited to have that back. And the shot registration thing for Halo 3, I can't wait for that, because I've taken a break from Halo 3 for a couple of weeks just to get ready for it, because I know when it comes out, I'm going to want to play it. So
come through.
Get the 8s going, man. We've been playing 8s, custom 8s, so I'm sure we'll get some game.
Make sure you hit up Queen, get permissions into the 8's discords. Everything goes through her.
I'm in there. Professor Pitt will be back, and I'm sure I'll leave a couple standings along.
What's your Among Us name? You got Professor Pitt for Halo 3, and then your Sheriff P. Nickname G over here.
This guy's got it all laid out. You know, Faisal will be collecting his weekly check with Halo 3, so I don't know why he's tripping about Halo 3 Spotlight.
The last dance will be in attendance, so yeah, just keep your eyes out, man. We're gonna be streaming all the tournaments, and who knows? You guys stay tuned. Maybe on my X will be doing some surprise commentaries here and there, possibly.
Yeah,
nothing official just yet, but so we're gonna definitely try to stay involved with you guys as always, and we're gonna try to be creative with how we bring you some content.
We have the On My X Twitch. We haven't done anything with it yet, so I don't know. Chat, maybe not chat, but comments, Twitter, YouTube. Maybe you guys let us know if that's something you're interested in. Some live On My X commentary shows. For me, I know we obviously found out about the move to Halo 5, and when I first heard about it, I was kind of mixed, to be honest. I wasn't really sure. But then with the blog post, I think really clarified a lot. Like me personally, I sold my Xbox a while ago and bought a PlayStation. God, Tashi, please don't be mad at me for that. But I've moved away from the console for a little while now and been doing the PC thing. And so when I heard that, Halo 5 Pro Series is going to be on Xbox at first, I wasn't sure. But then when to see that they're also supporting the Halo 3 scene on PC as well every week was huge. And the fact that it isn't going to be a show every time means that I'll get to play in those if I choose to. So maybe I'll get the guys together and we'll jump in on some of the action. So I'm really excited about that. I'm also excited at the chance, like I said, for the Halo 5 guys to showcase. When I thought about it more and more, it made sense, because the fact of the matter is, and for all those people, a lot of those cats on Twitter that have just been going straight to roasting, the fact of the matter is, these Halo 5 events are not for you. They're for that dedicated Halo 5 community, and they have stayed playing on Xbox, for the most part. And so it makes sense that their tournaments would be there outside of Observer Mode, outside of everything else. It makes sense that the Halo 5 tournaments would be where the majority of their players are, whereas the Halo 3 events are on PC. That's where all the Halo 3 cats are at. So I'm looking forward to having that competition. Every week we're going to have a classic tournament and a modern Halo 5 tournament. So I'm pretty stoked about it. So with that being said, I know Faisal's going to transition us into our hot, juicy, spicy topic for the day. So let's take it away.
Just to wrap it up, definitely, I think you guys said it perfectly. At the end of the day, we're going to get both communities are going to be getting something exciting, something weekly, and something that'll bring content and some exposure to the Halo scene. So overall, great stuff. I'm really excited about these tournaments for Halo 5 and Halo 3. But with that, we're going to transition over into a very relevant subject, very relevant topic going around, and not just the Halo community, but in the esports community as a whole. And of course, I'm talking about the question of, wait for it, skill-based matchmaking. All right, guys. So we've seen a lot of hot takes on Twitter, on YouTube, on Twitch. We've seen everybody either backing, the how important skill-based matchmaking is, and then on the other side, we have people hating and completely saying that it has no place in some games like that. It's like the Call of Duty scene and some of these other games that people are complaining about. So I want to pass it over to you, Wes. I want to hear your thoughts on skill-based matchmaking. Do you think it belongs in these kinds of games? Do you think it does not? And just kind of walk us through what you think about it.
Yeah, I think I was actually talking to Royal 2 last night about it because we saw an argument on Twitter between Hitch and Leflin, and it got out of control.
Heated out of nowhere.
No, that was all on Leflin. I mean, if you read that,
yeah, he was just wilding for no reason.
That guy is out of line, to say the least. But I don't want to talk about anything that's none of my business. So, basically, I kind of was going back and forth and with Roll 2 and like breaking it down. And I got to a point where I was like, well, it really depends on what market are you trying to please? Like, who are you trying to please as a studio, right? Being in the game developer mind. It's like, do you want to please the 1% of the pros that want that high level, like, are you trying to reach that high level of every game you're going against someone of equal competition to you or as equal as they can get, or are you trying to create an atmosphere where they can step away from that and kind of escape from that and I guess like farm and I guess that's a frowned upon term. To me, it's like I always pictured it back when I stopped playing as a professional player, and then I was like, finishing up college. I had 3 roommates, and like they would play video games all the time, and I would play they would play on my account. And I'm like, they would not have been able to play on my account if skill-based matchmaking had existed for like all the social settings for like Halo or whatever games we were playing, because like they're just not going to be able to play at the level that I'm expected to play at. And I thought that was like something that you don't want to rob people of that kind of experience where it's like your friend comes over and you guys are going to have like a game night or whatnot, like in high school or something, right? And now all of a sudden, like one player is like significantly out of his
sweating every game. He's playing against a bunch of sweat balls running around all the time.
And he hasn't put in the time or the effort or anything. So like, I think that environment is safe and is like is a must-have experience for those social players, for your everyday video game players that maybe play a couple of times a week, but they want to play with friends and their friends are probably better than them that play a lot more. But like, when are you ever going to play with them if there's not like an opportunity to do so? I think that the part of the conversation that gets like dirty, in my opinion, is when you start talking about content creators and professional players trying to make montages and all of these things and farming people and like really just like taking advantage of players that aren't taking the game as serious as them or aren't trying to
smurfing and stuff to try to have easy matches.
Like, and to me, like when I was talking to Roll 2, I was like, honestly, like as an individual, I'll speak from my point of view. I don't have fun when I play against people that aren't good. Like, I do not have fun getting on a Smurf in Halo 3 and like dropping 27 kills in a Slayer or going plus 30 on a Contra King or something, like unless it's against good players. Like,
the clickbait is unreal though. It's 30 bomb on Narrow Slayer.
I also am not a content creator and I don't get any kind of revenue off posting like those kind of videos. But I kind of understand that that's like also just like a super frowned upon. It's like a hyper competitive version of me wants to say like that's wrong, like, and that shouldn't be done. And then there's like the social side of me that understands that like video games are not just hyper competitive atmospheres, and I kind of understand that like that needs to be a thing for those players to like enjoy themselves and be able to play with their friends at any time and be able to escape from the hyper competitive side of things.
I mean, Wes, like, you were around back in Halo 2. I mean, do you remember the way we looked at people who had like social clips in their montages? Like when you would see a guest, like how it was just like instantly invalidated. Like, I don't know where somewhere along the lines things changed where now kids are posting like, you know, kill catastrophes against people who aren't even shooting back, don't even know how to walk around properly.
Twitter is a thing now.
I just don't, I don't get it. And I catch a lot of flack for that, but man, like, I'm with you, Wes. I get so bored, dude. Like, if I'm not facing some kind of competition that's pushing me to, you know, be engaged mentally, I just check out and I'm chalked. I'm bored, you know? I think a big thing for me is you have to absolutely protect your new players. I mean, Call of Duty is massive. No matter what, they're going to have a crap ton of people playing it. But like, I think about Halo, for example. I mean, there was a lot of things wrong with Halo Reach, but we also saw what happened when you had no like ranking barrier. Like, you had new players jumping in the game for the first time in hardcore playing Instinct, like their first game on. Like, that's not going to end well, and that's not going to make players want to continue to come back, right? So there has to be some sort of like some form of protection for those casual players. I mean, having ranked and social playlists is obviously nice, but then we still run into the issue of people jumping in the social playlists just to farm and make them like stroking their fake ego online, you know, to make themselves feel better at the cost of, you know, players that are maybe trying to figure it out. So I kind of go back and forth in my head on that. What I will say is completely messed up though, and I read this on Reddit actually today. I think an employee from, I believe it was EA, posted a paper about how some of their skill-based matchmaking systems work, and that this is actually happening a lot more commonly in the industry than we know. Is what they're doing is they're rigging their skill-based matchmaking. So like, it'll give you like a couple easy games in a row, and then it'll make you lose on purpose by stacking against you, so you lose a couple games in a row. And they found that player retention is higher when they're winning and losing. So they're doing this thing where like, one game your skill-based matchmaking will give you an easy game, the next one will be hard to try to make you lose, and they'll give you worse teammates and stack it against you and for you.
I promise
this
you,
is a conspiracy talk. This is just conspiracy talk.
Valorant does that to me. I promise you.
Valorant, I'm saying,
I will win
that's what I'm saying,
and then I will get the worst teammates I've ever seen, and I'll be like, all right,
yeah,
what are you doing
they said it's prevalent in Valorant. They said it's happening in Apex. They said a number of different games, and they're saying like the reason why the algorithm is doing that is behind the scenes it makes players want to play more. So like, that's manipulation. You know what I mean?
We're being manipulated.
Just throw me in a lobby and let me play
exactly
against some
like
people that are similar to me. It's not that serious.
Yeah. So go ahead. So
yeah, for me, I agree with what Wes was saying, how from a standpoint of just trying to play with your buddies and have a good time, you don't want to match against this, you know, the hardest lobbies of all time, especially if you're playing a lot and your friends are new to the game. It kind of cancels that opportunity for y'all to play together. If you're trying to introduce someone new to the game and you have a group of people that you've been playing with, and they try to join your party, and it's just not enjoyable for them. But what I don't agree with is the content creators of the world kind of only looking at it from like with like money lenses on, like, oh, it's ruining my opportunity to make content. It's like, dude, relax. If you're making content, you're making millions of dollars doing this. Yeah, like you should have to earn it. Like, earn the content that you're going to be getting paid thousands of dollars and making all this money off of. Like, you shouldn't just be expected to be handed a free, like an easy lobby every game. But with that being said, I do think the ultimate like solution to this is to have a ranked and social play, like have a ranked and social system. Even in something like Warzone, where you would ask like, how would you do it? How would you do a ranked and social for Warzone? I mean, I just think it's that simple. Have, the way Halo or some of the other games do it, where you have an opportunity to play one or the two. But going back to Justin, what you said too, even if there are ranked and social, and some people choose to go into social, never going into ranked and just pub stomping or farming, I guess is the term we were using, is farming. They're just that good at the game to be able to do that. At the end of the day, it's equal chances that, good people and bad people can all be put into one lobby, and it could be mixed. So if there's a good person in that lobby, it's because they're good at the game. So I think there should be an option for people to play in skill-based matchmaking or not. But I don't think it should just be integrated naturally into an entire game such as Warzone, and people don't even have the option to try to play just a social game for fun. I
think for me too, like ranked playlists they just get me going, man. Like Apex is like not necessarily my favorite game ever, but I have like probably well over 1,000 hours, maybe 2,000 hours clocked in that game because I jump on just to try to rank up, you know, just to try to play in a ranked playlist where it's showing me I'm climbing the tiers and I'm getting higher and higher, you know. It's similar like that for PUBG. And I think about like Warzone for me is kind of fallen off a little bit. It's not necessarily in my everyday rotation, but I know like if that game had a ranked playlist, I would be going nuts, you know, trying to grind up and be the highest rank possible. So I don't know, man. I don't know what the answer is. Like, I don't think there's a perfect answer, but you have to protect your casuals, plain and simple. Like, you can't just have people getting run over. I don't know, Wes, do you have anything you want to add?
I feel like I kind of disagree with the protecting the casuals to an extent. I mean, I know the game will not survive if it doesn't have like if people aren't clinging to it and don't enjoy their first couple of experiences. But like to a point Faisal almost made, it's like everyone they're playing against kind of earned their ability to kind of like overpower those players. Like it's like with time and hard work, like those people aren't just gifted. Like they didn't just pick up the controller and all of a sudden they're just like God's gift to Halo, Call of Duty, whatever it is. Like guaranteed those people play hours and hours and hours. It's like when you get matched up against those people, like you should lose. Like they should be better than you. It's like I kind of understand a barrier for the new players, but at the same time, it's like if I'm playing up basketball up at 24-hour fitness and Kevin Durant walks in, like who am I to tell him, hey man, you can't play this game because I want to have fun.
I agree.
I'm not going to tell Kevin Durant he can't play at the 24. He has the same membership.
That's a great analogy. Yeah, and I think it comes. I mean, honestly, kudos to a game like Halo, right? I know it's a lot different than like a concept like Warzone, but I think about Halo, and we kind of have the best of both worlds, and we always have. You know, we have the ranks, and then we have the socials, and it's always worked out pretty well. But recently, obviously, with all the big people in content creation and the people with all the followers on Twitter have been talking about it. So it's a very prevalent subject these days. But, you know, coming from Halo and at the end of the day, we're all three of us on the show are competitors, right? We've played Halo competitively. So we naturally, even if we aren't saying it, like we lean towards having that skill base and we like to be able to play against the best as we're becoming better. But I think all three of us are trying in our best way to try to look at it from a casualist perspective as we're giving our takes. At least that's what I'm trying to do. And I definitely won't commit all the way to one side because I think there is validity on both sides.
Yeah, I also think.
Go ahead.
It takes me back to when Valorant, the game first released, and it didn't have a beta. Or it didn't have the actual game didn't have ranks for like 2 weeks. Yeah, those are the longest 2 weeks of my life.
Stop me from playing, bro.
I'm still haven't come back. I'm literally sitting here playing unrated. I'm just like banging my head against the wall, like
I'm telling you, they need both.
Let me play for something. Like, so I can't really relate. Like to Faisal's point he just made. It's like I can't relate to someone that's not competitive because I've always been competitive. And like if I'm playing a video game, like I'm playing the ranked playlist. Like I'll buy the new Madden every year and I will not play a warm-up game. I'm not going to play a quick match. I'm going into ranked and I'm like playing like ranked Madden, right? Like I might be the worst player you ever seen, but I'm gonna play against.
You're gonna work at it though.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't understand though. Like if you're a hyper competitive player, or like you've gotten.
But that's the whole thing. Like not everyone is a hyper competitive, you know.
So the players that are that good is the thing. So like. So
the ones that are complaining, the ones that are complaining are already
good enough.
They're all god tier,
Yeah, like so.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
That's a good point.
I don't have fun. Like KD would not have fun at 24-hour fitness playing me in basketball.
And honestly, the only reason this is even now, the more we're talking about it, and all these thoughts are really just coming off the top of my head. But it sounds like all these content creators and the people that are mad about it are only mad about it because it's affecting their monetary, like their income, right? It's affecting their pockets, and that's why they're getting really upset about it. Because I can't.
That's a hot take.
Every game I'm playing on my stream, every game I play on my stream is just tough, and I'm not going, dominating every game, just hitting 360 no scopes on people that are playing the game for the first time. Like I actually have to be good every game to have good performances every game. So now that I'm reevaluating the subject, it sounds to me like the only people complaining about this are the people that are trying to make content and are not able to dominate the competition like they're used to doing without any skill-based matchmaking. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I think it's just there's no right answer. I think it's just which side do you kind of lean towards, and we just explained like one side of me that's hyper competitive, and then there's the other side that's like I'm in college and like my roommate wants to play a game, and I'm like, sorry dog. Dude, like you can play a game, it's not going to be fun. And that kind of environment doesn't allow like a lot of the social environment that we know gaming, like that potential that gaming has. And I think that it's just like there's no right answer to the entirety of the debate. It's just kind of which side of the fence are you on, and I think it's always going to be like that.
Is it unrealistic? I mean, am I missing something when I keep going back to, oh, they should have both? I feel like maybe I'm missing a piece to the information that's not as easy as I'm making it out to be. But why games, like, why is that not an option?
They're talking about how they're talking about how even like, for example, Warzone, even though it's unranked, and I don't know if Valorant does this or not, they're still keeping track of your skill, and that's why they're still matching you up like in harder tier matches, even when you are playing unranked, and that's what people are complaining about. Is like,
yeah. So
I can't even play a social playlist. Go ahead.
So my question is like, could Warzone make a social in a ranked? Like, what can games just do that, or is there a reason why it's not more prevalent in today's games?
Well, it's the social playlist having a hidden MMR is kind of the conversation. So it's like
no,
it's
I don't think social playlist shouldn't have it.
Right, but if you say that, then like when good players go into social settings, they kind of what the issue is that they're ruining, quote unquote, ruining games for your new players that are just trying to play social, right? Like they're just trying to get on for their one night that they might play before they go to bed, and they run into like
Ninja
Prim 6 or something, Ninja, and Ninja's going for 127 kills or whatever he's going for, right? And I think that like that's where the kind of dilemma gets drawn, and that's where the issues start to arise.
I try to think back to like just playing social again. I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, this is a Halo show, so I link stuff back to Halo. But like playing through Halo, even like it's not like when you're playing social games. I mean, once in a while you match someone that's really good and drops like 25 kills in a Slayer. But I mean, when the pool is that big, when like a game like Warzone gets millions of players all the time, if there wasn't skill-based matchmaking integrated into the quote unquote social setting game, then you would get someone really good. No, I mean, my point is, as a casual person, like, you would get some good players in your game once in a while, but for the most part, like, I don't think you'd be getting nasty blobbies all the time. But when they forcefully integrate skill-based matchmaking into something, so that's supposed to be social, I don't know. It seems like in this show, I'm kind of like wavering on one side or the other.
We're seeing why it's a debate, right? We're seeing why it's such a hot debate.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're playing a social playlist because you're not trying to play for anything. So it shouldn't matter when you get bopped on your head by someone that's better than you. You can just you can just die and start a new game up, and they probably aren't in your game because the sample, like the pool size is so big.
So it's a Faisal's point. It's like Warzone doesn't give you that option, like Call of Duty is like, it's all social. So it's like, we don't get to choose like, hey, because like, for example, with Halo, like what Faisal said about Halo being the core, for me in Halo, if you looked at my social games, like I can honestly say with pretty much 100% certainty that since Halo 3 MCC has dropped on PC, I have not played a single social game, like at all. It's just not even on my radar. So like, if I had a ranked option in Warzone, that's where I would be, but the fact of the matter is we don't have that option, and so now we're playing quote unquote social.
Like a weird hybrid. It's like a weird hybrid ranked / social.
Yeah, but like the skill-based matchmaking thing to me makes it somewhat interesting because I'm not just like running over people. Like I can tell that the players are better and better. Like when I'm in a lobby and everyone is running the Bruin, like I know for a fact everybody knows how to play Warzone. I mean, that was played a month ago, but like I can tell that, and that friction of like pushback, people shooting back, people being better is what makes it interesting to me. And I feel like if you just get rid to that, it's like, dude, the level of, like the amount of people that are going to be playing at that highest level, it's like less than 1%. You know, I'm not going to get to play against a good amount of those people per lobby. I'm just going to be crushing through everyone on my way. Maybe the last squad I fight might be decent, but like without skill-based matchmaking in a scenario like that, I think it's just boring, you know. But maybe, like, I don't know, am I just built, are we built different? You know, are the three of us weird outliers in this? Like,
I wish there was an option where you could literally just go into your settings and turn it on or off, like enable skill base for like until I turn it off, and then you can turn it back off. Like, I don't know if that's unrealistic to say, but I wish there was some sort of option in your settings. You could literally just, so if you feel like you're in the mood, all right, hey, I'm gonna play against, you know, my tier people, or my skilled level players in today's game, you turn it on. And other days you just want to play socially, casually, maybe have a drink, and you're just playing for fun, and you could turn that setting off and just play in a bigger pool of whether they're good or bad people. But when you're ready to play competitively, you could turn it on. I don't know. Again, I'm not the most technically proficient person in all of it and how games are made, or what's easy and what's not, but I'm just giving my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, I don't think there's a right answer. Like I said, I think as long as you give players options, they'll probably find an area where they're happy and satisfied. I don't think you'll ever be able to stop good players from bopping bad players on their heads in social settings, but I do think that allowing the environment for both to exist, like the hyper competitive players to find their avenue, and then the players that want to relax and enjoy some games without caring about the outcome, they have a different area. That's probably going to wrap it up here, right?
Yeah, I think that we've had some fun, like, back and forth discussion, kind of seeing both sides. I think we've done a good job of that. I think we could probably all agree that, like, the weird puppeteer manipulation behind the scenes of, like, computers trying to, like, make us lose and win is probably pretty messed up.
Like that.
And that should probably not be a thing. Yeah.
When I hear that information, my brain links it to, like, how you hear about, like, these, like, whenever you say something like, oh, I'm really craving some Pizza Hut, and then later you go on your ads and you see Pizza Hut ads.
Yeah.
My brain kind of puts what you're saying into that same tier of information, right?
Where that's, like, the world that we live in now, dude. You know, like, where they're just totally really trying to,
Yeah, and really, we don't even know. I mean, I don't want to go down this hole of conspiracy talk, but that's crazy. If that's actually true, that these games are doing this stuff secretly and it's not public information, and they're just trying to, like, manipulate it so that people keep coming back like some sort of sheep, that's weird. But I don't know how much validity is on that information, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know much about it either, but I would say that immediately throws up a red flag to the integrity of the rank that players have, because you're now almost dictating what that rank might become, in a sense. You're telling me that, like, I've been carried 3 games in a row, now it's my turn to carry, and you're going to give me bad teammates. Like, that's I don't like the idea of anything being dictated for, like, a personal rank.
Just make it fair, right? Make it fair.
It should just be a reflection of the random teammates that I got every time I searched.
The one that, like, frustrated me was, like, sorry, I know we're trying to wrap up. I'm going to be super quick on this one.
Good?
The one that frustrated me in the Halo scene, since we're obviously trying to keep it Halo related, is so in Halo 5, I actually really liked the ranking system. I really liked the fact that, like, you got to champ and you still had something to play for. You could see where you stacked up against the rest of the world. I think, in my personal opinion, it's the best ranking system. I think it's even better than 1 through 50. It keeps you wanting to play more. The one thing, though, the one thing that frustrated me super bad about Halo 5 was when the seasons would reset and you had to re-grind for your rank, and you're playing through, like, and let's say it starts you back in Diamond or whatever, it would be, like, matching you based on the fact that you were a champion. Like, it's matching you based on what you should be and not what you actually are. You know what I mean? So, like, you would end up in these games where those teams are, like, ridiculously stacked against you, and I'm like, dude, like, yeah, I'm a champ. I've been champ before, but, like, the fact that you're matching me, like, you're not matching me as a diamond, which is what I am right now, and you're making these games way harder than they should be to get back to champ, was, like, frustrating, right? Because then it felt like you had to carry these crazy weights just to get back to where you were. You know what I mean? I see you kind of nodding your head, Wes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, like, hidden MMR is super popular in a lot of, like, today's biggest games, League of Legends, Valorant. Whatever it might be, and, like, there's people on Valorant right now that are getting Radiant in, like, 6 games after creating a new account, and it's like clearly the game is reading this account to be the highest level it is, and like, those steps in the middle are always going to be tough and tricky. But I don't, like I said, this is kind of like a preference thing, and we have to recognize that we're the small percentage in this preference argument of. Yeah, we're the 1% that this is actually affecting. Other people that are, like, creating new accounts, this is are are trying to get their rank back after decaying or whatnot. Like that's just part of something we have to deal with because we are that 1% and we are that good in order to be able to do that. It's tough that it's against us and are not in favor of us in that, but I think that there's a lot of reasons that go behind that, and I think that we can kind of suck that up as the 1% and play through it. As frustrating as it might be at times, I think like overall it's probably a better off than the alternative of like other people that have like really worked hard for their Diamond 3 and now they're playing against you, who's a champion player, but they're not like you're not ranked champion. Like it's tough for him to like lose his Diamond 3.
There's definitely you can justify it from both sides of it, and I think that's ultimately what our I think if we had to kind of summarize what our answers were to this question of skill-based matchmaking, kind of comes down to that, right? Where we're looking at it, we're forced to look at it from like a certain lens because we are that side of the population that it affects. But ultimately, I think there's kind of points and facts that justify it from both sides.
I think if the audience can take one major key point away from this whole discussion episode, it's that we need a ranked playlist in Among Us, honestly.
Hey, I need to download Among Us. I think I'm going to do it tonight. We're going to get some games going this week.
I would search ranked Among Us.
Dude, that's crazy. That would be
All right, Wes, get us out of here, man.
All right, we're going to wrap it up. Episode 7 is getting late Sunday night. Goofy, with the handles, let them know.
Yeah, everyone, thank you once again. Let us know in the comment section what you want to see, what you want to hear us talk about. We read those things all the time. You'll see us replying back to you guys and making sure that, you guys are heard. So you can find me streaming all the time. Most of the times it's Halo. Sometimes it's Warzone with the homies. But it's at twitch.tv/goofy. And you can follow my tweets. When I do tweet, it will be at twitter.com/ggoofy. I'm going to pass it on over to my friend Hunter JJX. Tell them what they want to hear, Hunter.
Yeah. As always, you can find me on Twitter Hunter_JJX, twitch.tv/Hunter_JJX. It was Halo only for the most part, but now we've got these Among Us nights going pretty much every night almost, and that's been awesome. So be sure to tune into that as well as Wes's stream when we're doing those things. These guys nailed it. Stay involved with us. Keep letting us know what you want to see. Episode 10 is coming. We're planning on having a special guest for episode 10. We want to know who you guys want to see on the show. Wes, go ahead, man.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. You know the drill. Wes Price with 2 E's is the Instagram. Wes_Clutch is the Twitter. And the Clutch is the Twitch. And that's going to wrap up my social media. I appreciate everybody for listening. If you've made it this far,
let's go.
Like Faisal said, definitely leave some comments below. Give us some topics to talk about. We're looking for anything right now. We got Halo 5 MCC Pro Series kicking off shortly, so that's going to give us a lot of content. Very excited for that. The Halo 3 tournaments and the new patch coming out this week. It's going to be on Tuesday. You're going to want to play some Halo 3 on Tuesday because the shop registration update.
We're going to have weapon skins.
Awesome.
It's going to be crazy.
Skins. Absolutely. It's going to be a blast. Halo is still thriving. We need this community to grow, and all of you are a part of helping that happen. On my X, episode 7. We're out.
We out.